And boom. 15 seconds. All right, and welcome to the Monster Maverick Show. This is our hour-long weekly chat about all things Splinterlands. And the show you just listened to, that was Aggrod, our illustrious founder. And he had his Random Mouse radio show for the last 2 hours. And we talked all things NFTs, which is actually related to Splinterlands. So hopefully, hopefully you all picked up on that. So, if you think about all the things that Agro does, it's always like how to make Splinterlands work. And he's come up with all these other things to make the whole ecosystem work for Splinterlands. So, there was SMTT, which was a fundraising round. So they created Steam Engine, and they wanted to trade cards, and so then we have all the rest of the stuff, and yeah. So just think of everything that way, and it'll all make sense. So now we need ways to sell stuff to anybody, and not just on Steam. So we need to be able to trade cards, sell cards, all that kind of stuff. Um, so that actually brings me to the first thing I want to do, which is not Splinterlands related directly. I did want to give a shout out to my buddy Gerber. So Gerber has come up with this new little game called Steam City, and there's a Discord link if anybody wants to join. It's all NFT based from Steam Engine, and you get cards which represent buildings in your city, kind of Sim City esque, and you make money and you have population, and there's going to be all these different kinds of things. Gerber is unfortunately asleep. It is like 4 in the morning wherever he is, somewhere in Europe, I think. So don't tag Gerber because he will be mad. But I just wanted to give him a shout out because it's super cool. Just started today or yesterday or something. But there is a post over there. He's awake. How do you know he's awake? I did want to show. Ah, this is one of the announcement posts from Raymond Speaks. So that's all. Read it at your leisure. I think it's cool. I have, bought 100 Steam worth of tokens. So yeah, it's good times. Anyway, Splitterlands. So this stream might be better if you're watching the video on mspwaves.com/home/listen, because I have a lot of stuff on the screen, or I will anyway. So he was typing. Where was he typing? Oh, I didn't. Okay, I'll take your word for it, Ron. He does not sleep very much. So there you go, Gerber. I'm pimping your stuff. So so hopefully you are inundated with new users who have all kinds of problems, and you will have to support their questions. So better you than me. I am not the community leader type. I get my patience is very low these days. So that's just me. Wakey, wakey. Okay. Um, so I did want to show everybody one thing while we got Ron here. Do 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 do. Now it's exits. Just everybody check out that battle because it is super fun. It's me basically trashing Ron. So, but in a friendly, competitive way. If anybody wants to look. So, we had a little run in earlier today. I had my gold deck against his life here. Oh, wrong button. Gotta do my screen cap. I copy that and paste. So, you know, well, so this is actually relevant. So alpha gold foils do not rent well. They are too expensive. So I play with them, and this is the deck that I have that I play with. There are some max levels. This one So like my Angel of Light is only level 2 because I don't have very many of those. Um, but my what you call it, my Silver Shield Warrior is level 10. So it is what it is. But yeah, I kind of kicked his ass here, so that was fun. And that was I had a Dragon Quest, which is which is the new quest along with no neutrals and tournament. So Dragon Quest I usually do pretty well in because it allows. So Selenia is one of my top gold foil summoners because I have her at level 4, and that actually brings me to my first topic, which is the Selenia Sky auction. So Agrod and Yaba they put together this auction over on OpenSea.io. And let me take a screen cap here. Ba, 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 ba. So this was pretty cool. And the reason this is pretty cool is because OpenSea.io is an Ethereum-based auction site. So they one of the new developments is that the you can send any of your cards over to Ethereum to trade. That's right. We are talking about Michael B. You send any of your cards over to Ethereum to create. I believe it's the ERC-71. I'm not 100% sure on that. But to create an Ethereum token, which then you can buy, sell, do whatever on OpenSea. Now, the advantage to that is that Ethereum's a whole different group of users, and they have a lot of them have deep pockets because Ethereum is what it is. It's one of the most popular. It's probably the most popular contract platform, and second only to Bitcoin in terms of market cap and all that stuff that you already know. So to build some hype here, they put up this auction with no reserve, which was ballsy. And according to the what they shared was that they had to buy these cards off market for about $2,400, and then combine them and created this auction. So it ran for a week. It for 6.9 days, it was at like 1 Ethereum or something like that. And then in the last couple hours, bids started coming in, and that's normal for any kind of auction. And it ended up closing at 8.4 wrapped Ethereum, which is I guess the pegged version of Ethereum on the OpenSea platform. We go to CoinMarketCap. Ethereum's $160. Let's do 160 times 8.4. That comes out to 1344. I think it was a little bit higher the other day, but whatever. So this card, of which there are not many, sold for 1,300, 1,500, something like that. And it's a hell of a card. And Michael B was the winner because we can see down here that it was sold to Michael B. And then Michael B transferred it to this other account. So I don't know if that was a sale or if that's Michael's own account or what, but it is now hanging out over here in this anonymous account, which is some Ethernet address. And this account has some cool stuff. We've got a gold Vigilator, a gold Lightning Dragon, and that's an Alpha Lightning Dragon. So that's quite a pricey card because Gold Money bought them all and is charging $6,000 for them. So we'll see if any of that actually trades. But yeah, so the great thing about blockchain is that we can see everything. So things to keep in mind. But that was big news. So Agrod seemed to be a little bit disappointed in the auction results, and understandably so. They spent 2,400. They got 60% of that, 65%, and that is not that's not a good return on investment. But so these are the Ether people. So I mean, this is publicity trying to make people on the Ether chain more aware of Splinterlands. I'm sure they all know about Gods Unchained, which is another collectible card game or trading card game, however you want to say it, that's built on Ethereum. But they have the Ethereum problems that we've seen over and over and over again, which is that the network doesn't scale, and they've been talking about scaling solutions like sharding and whatever else for at least 2 years now, and still one popular app brings down the whole network, and the gas fees become outrageous. And so from my understanding, that Gods Unchained, like if you have a common card on Gods Unchained, you actually can't afford to sell it because the gas fees are more than the card is worth. Unfortunately, by building on Steam, Splinterlands doesn't have any of those problems. But once you transfer them over to Ethereum, you do have those problems. So that is something to keep in mind if you want to take advantage of these other markets. But overall, I think it's a win for just publicity and getting other people aware of the game, other crypto nerds, as I like to call them. Um, so I'd say good job, yeah, and aggroed. But that got me thinking. You know, what's going on in the app world? And so I brought up State of the Dapps here, and we see the rankings. So that's the URL. Let's do a quick screen cap here. Copy and paste that into the chat. Okay, so we can see that number one is Splinterlands. Woo! And we got 4,068 users in the last 24 hours, 79,000 Steam in 7-day volume, which was 12,000 US dollars, which is actually down a bit. Now, I think they only count ones that are sold through, directly from user to Splinterlands. I don't think they count third market sales like on Peak Monsters and stuff. If anybody knows that for sure, let me know. But we can see that in the usage here, we've got Splinterlands, which is Steam. We got Steam It as number 2, which is Steam. And it's interesting that Splinterlands is now above Steam. That is not always the case. But then we have Next Colony, which is another game. I also play Next Colony, by the way. It's fun, but it's super slow. It takes like 2 months to get anywhere when you first start. Apex, and so I went through all this, and I was looking like how many of so this front page lists 50 dApps, and how many of them are on Steam? And it's like a bunch. So in the top 50, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of the top 50 are on Steam. And for a platform that is, the coin price is 15 cents and is cratered from $8, that is pretty damn impressive. So, in the last show, Agrid was talking a little bit about, the crypto bull run that is coming. I'm hoping he's right. I don't know if he's right. But, as far as function, Steve is just kicking ass. So I do give it to that. We have our own internal politics, just like every other group does. But as far as things that work, people are using. Steam is the one. So, but let's look at the actual numbers here. 4,000 people a day is by crypto standards huge, by gaming standards very small. So there's still lots of room to grow, and hopefully the marketing plans that are coming out in the mobile app and all that kind of stuff does take us to that next level, because Steam can actually handle it, unlike Ethereum. So that is all pretty cool. So I did want to let you all know that this is not just me talking at you. I do want to hear what you guys want to look at as far as Splinterlands stuff. So we have we do have a couple announcements from, let's see if I can find it, the state of the rental markets from Peak Monsters. There's going to be a commercial on AMC coming Monday at 7 a.m. at 7 a.m. Eastern and 7 a.m. Western. And we've got our auction. We got our market data. We've got games, if you want to talk strategy of battles and top players and things like that. Dal's chimed in earlier when we were talking over in Steam Leo about card burns, and he's compiled this post. It was more than 40 minutes ago now, but some interesting stuff going on with card burns. And there's my Monster Maverick show, which I hopefully you all voted for. And we did have the Black Dragon go out of print recently. So where is the Black Dragon? This list is kind of hard to sort. So actually, let's take a look at what's going on there with the Black Dragon. Black Dragon. So one of the great things about Peak Monsters is that you can really dive in on things if my web browser works. Let's try a refresh. Oh, there we go. I was impatient. All right. So here's the Black Dragon. Okay, so we're up to $1.13. If we look, we turn on a week. Now, not a whole lot of activity here. Steam is decentralized water. That's right, patient zero. And if we look in terms of rewards cards, so one of the ways to get an idea of how cards are doing in relation to other things is that you compare them within class, right? So if we look at the legendary rewards cards, some of them are in print, some of them are out of print, and we could see the Fallen Spectre is the cheapest because this is in ascending price order. Black Dragon is market price of $1.50 right now. Kraken, which is in print, is $2.50. Ruler of the Seas is $3.50. Lord Arianthus, or Lord Anus, as some people like to say, is $7. And that's actually down from it. I think I saw it hit 11 when it first went out of print, and there was like a panic buy. So is what it is. We could tell from this that it's not the most useful card because people aren't pushing the price up. Because also Kraken, which like I said is in print, is water instead of a dragon, is actually 60% higher. And there's 1132 total, 62 available on the market. Total BCX is 1754. So there's a number of them out there, and and so yeah, I mean the fact that that's higher than an out of print Black Dragon is not great for the Black Dragon, but it is an out of print card, so it might be worth a speculation. If we look at the golds, Black Dragon's $50 compared to Kraken's 45, and Fallen Spectre is 63. I don't know why that's there. It should be. Oh, I think the ascending price goes based on the low buy, so it's not quite in the order of market value. But yeah, so like Sacred Unicorn up here, it's $1.65, which is above Black Dragon. So yeah, chain golems are cheap too. So yeah, the chain golem is interesting. So let's look at the chain golem. So for those who weren't aware, the chain golem is considered an untamed, but it's actually was part of the Kickstarter promo and was only available during that time. So the ones that exist are it. So there's 633 gold chain golems, and there's 4580 of the regulars. It's a legendary. It's a tank. It's mana's kind of expensive. It's 8. So compared to the Lord A of 5, that's definitely more, but it does more stuff. So instead of just defense, it attacks as well. So it's got a at level 3, it's got a piercing attack, which is super useful, and it has shield and void. It does not have magic reflect or return fire, so it's a little bit weaker against ranged attackers. But still, it's a good card in a lot of situations, especially the high mana matches. It's super useful. So that probably did hurt the price of Lord A. But if we go over to Dalz's post, which I'll go ahead and paste here. Oop, that's not right. Copy. Paste. Okay, so if we go down, I believe it's under Untamed. So under the gold foil, 145 of them have been burnt. What are the 3 dive key? What is a 3 dive key reason? What does that even mean? Oh, 3 to 5 key reasons. What are the 3 to 5 key reasons people like Splinterlands? Well, we'll get to that in just a second. But so 145 chain golems have been burnt, gold chain golems. And how many are there? There's 633. So if we take 633, and I think that is the current amount. And what is my keyboard doing here? 633 plus 145 is 778. So 145. Come on. 145. What? Jesus Christ. divided by 778 equals. Okay. Somebody help me out here. What's 145 divided by 778? All right, 18%. That was painful. 18% of the gold chain golems have been burned, and never going to be any more. I think that is insanity. But I guess people wanted to cash out right away after after the Kickstarter get some of their funds back because it was an expensive time. At least it was for me. Um, so I guess I can understand that, but still, I think it's a little short sighted. But it is what it is. As far as Agrod's question, 3 to 5 key reasons people like Splinterlands. It's kind of a softball pitch from our own founder, but we'll go with it. So there's different styles of games out there. There's different styles of card games out there. So one of the things that I really like and that a lot of people like about Splinterlands is that it's very bite size. If you search for a match, pick your team and play and watch the result, we're talking 3 minutes, maybe. If you're quick on it and you get a quick match, it could be less than a minute, depending on how long people take to pick their teams. So anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes as a very easy amount to play. A game you can do it while you're waiting for the bus, or you can do it while you're sitting somewhere, or if you are working or studying for school or whatever it is that you got going on in your life, and you want a 3 to 5 minute break, you can play a match of Splinterlands, and I think that is a great thing because other games, single matches can take 30 minutes, and that's just too much time for a lot of busy people. Another advantage is that it's online, right? So a lot of games, if you have your console game, your Xbox and PlayStation or your computer games or whatever, you're going to be sitting at your computer or at your TV. You can, especially with mobile app coming, you can play anywhere. So that's a big advantage. So those two things together make it very, very convenient. So it's online, digital, and all that kind of stuff. The third thing, which I think is the major the major draw that Splinterlands it has, because there are other things like that, is that it's blockchain, right? So we own our stuff. So if I go to my account, I'll show you my account. I go to my collection. Da-da-da. Takes a while to load on mine because I have a ton of cards. These are all my cards. I can buy them. I can sell them. I can rent them. I can give them away. I could burn them. I can do whatever I want with them. And so that certainty of ownership, or that ownership in the first place, but then the certainty provided by blockchain is a huge advantage. And maybe that's just the financial nerd in me talking and the tech nerd, but I find that super attractive. So those are my three key things, and it's just a fun game. There's there's that too. Progression. Thanks, Matt. So Matt says he's got short, medium, long-term goals. Win this match, win this quest/tournament, build my water splitter into gold league, get my rentals up to $5 a day. Yeah, there are those graduations of goals, but that that's all a result of the game being fun. So if it wasn't fun, then none of this would work. But now that since it is fun, you have these other advantages. That's the win. So those are what I think the 3 to 5 key reasons are. So if you guys have a different idea, throw them in the chat. And let's see, engaging, genuinely supportive community. Don't underestimate that. Okay, that's true. They're especially in the early days. So when Splinterlands first started, well, first it was called Steam Monsters. When Steam Monsters first started, it was just cards, and people were trading them, and people were buying and selling and doing all kinds of things, trying to do private deals, and then Peak Monsters developed Marketplace that is, I think, as far as I know, still the #1 marketplace for Steam Monsters, although there are others popping up. And there have been a number of cases where people made errors. They sold a max level card for the price of a level 1 card. And, amazingly, people actually returned the cards. and and then they undid the whole transaction, even though they didn't have to. And then they said, okay, well, you meant to sell it for whatever it was, and so we'll go with that price. And I was amazed to see that, because had I been the beneficiary of that, I would have been very, very tempted to just say, well, you made your mistake, tough luck. But as far as I'm aware, every case was successfully resolved of that. I don't know if that's still 100% true, but it is largely true. So that it is a pretty amazing community. And Zadika redirects as longevity, diversity, tournaments, randomness of battles. I do like the randomness of battles too. All the different rule sets it creates. So like again in the early days, when battles initially were released, it's just the standard rule set for everybody at all times, and people just hammered. you know, they built their bots, and they hammered to try to get rewards packs. So that was that was needed to be fixed. So by introducing the different mana levels and the different rule sets, and now we have compound rule sets, um, it does actually create a different game every time. So that's a big thing. The tournaments. So tournaments are interesting. We have Rafalski's site up. I think we do. No, I had it somewhere. Here we go. So this is Rafalski's site, and he keeps a lot of statistics on on other things. And so Splinterlands is one of the games he tracks. I believe he has tournaments on here. So we've got all players and tournament players. So let's look at that. I'll drop this screenshot in the chat. Copy, paste. So you can see that I don't know what we call an average, 350, 400, something like that, as an average across all those peaks and valleys. We had that big spike on December 31st. I believe that was the big payout tournament, so there were a lot of players there. But that's actually a lot. That's 10% of the player base is playing tournaments daily, which is a fair number. Um, so tournaments are interesting because they go against one of those key points that the a 3 to 5 minute game. Tournaments can take a much longer, depending on how many people there are. It could take 15 minutes, could take 30 minutes, could take 2 hours. So that is something that is more of a time investment, and I think that's why we only see 10%. Even though that's a significant fraction, it's not as much as it could be. So I guess we could ask Agrat, since he's typing in the chat here. How are asynchronous tournaments where you don't have to sit there and play match by match? Are those in the next 6 months, you think, or are they going to be developed at all? So if and when those are developed, I think we'll see this number of tournament players go way up. So that is tournaments. Yes, within 6 months. See what he has to say. All right, I'll take that as a yes. And we're going to hold you to that. It is January 25th. When mobile. So mobile is another super exciting thing that we're going to be coming. We are all anticipating. Mobile friendly 2 weeks for alpha release. Well, that's exciting. Obviously, alpha release is not going to be super functional, but it is going to be something. Here's one more chart that Rafalski keeps on tournaments. Copy, paste. So we've got tourney entrants and actual players. There was some discussion in the Mavericks channel about some tournament abuse that was perceived to be going on, because some of the higher paying tournaments are either gold foil cards or alpha card, and people were entering them and then not having the cards, and then just by spamming entries they were getting placed into the prize rounds and some people were upset about that. So change is made where you have to have qualifying cards in order to actually play in the tournament. So that we'll see how that kind of evolves and changes the numbers of actual players that are checked in here, which is the darker line, darker bar of each of these days. But we're seeing an average in the last 29 days of 926 actual players a day, and if we compare that back to the chart of tournament players, we're seeing that that's nowhere near that number. It's nowhere near 926. It's 350 or 400 or something like that. So it looks like the average tournament player is playing a bunch of them, like 2 or 3 tournaments a day, which is a lot. I certainly don't have time to be sitting there to play 2 or 3 tournaments a day. I sometimes do one. When I get that quest, I pretty much always skip it, to do the win one tournament battle. So that is interesting that 10% is really into playing. Um, if we wanted to do some deep analysis, we could figure out who those people are and if they're like rental players or whatnot. Speaking of rentals, let's go over to the state of the rental markets. And Peak Monsters put this out. Jarvis, the head liaison, I think, for Peak Monsters, and they run, as far as I know, anyway, the biggest rental market for Splinterlands cards. And it's not long. So it just says, I know it's super hard to believe, but the rental markets have continued to grow, at least in several categories over the last months. And there's the link. So we can see total contracts are up to 8444, and that's compared to a month ago. That's up 24%. The value of the contracts is slightly up 2%. And actually, I'll copy and paste. And then so unique delegatees, the renters, is up slightly. So on December 2nd was 397. Now it's 473. So, about 70 more renters. A number of owners who are trying to delegate cards is up 15% from 255 to 295. But the interesting thing is the sub 0.01 rentals. Now these prices are in US dollars, so this is sub 1 cent a day rentals is 3,986 out of 8,044. So that's 45% or so. That's a huge portion of the rentals are those super cheap, and the 0.001 rentals, which is kind of self-defeating because Peak Monsters takes a fee. So you're basically getting nothing if you're renting out for 0.001. There's 1,400 of those. So the two of those combined, 3986 plus 1423 is 5409 out of 8,444. So 64%, 64% of the cards that are up for rent are 1 cent or less per day. So that's a huge number. And then the top owner, we can see as the amount that the top owner is making has gone down from 24.6 to 17.6. And that kind of matches with what Matt Clark is saying here. He went down from 207 to 173, despite dropping a lot of prices. So basically the tale of the story is that more rentals are coming online from more owners. Competition is driving price down, and the demand of the people doing the renting is not sufficient to keep prices up. So that's going to be interesting. And then considering the actual rewards mechanisms that is built into Splinterlands, I think rentals are the best deal going. So yeah, like Ron says, it's a renter's market. And above 10-cent rentals is 257. That's not a lot. And I know a bunch of those are mine. So yeah, I mean, it's just prices are going down, and that's it's a better deal for renters, and hopefully that will provide an attraction to people who want to come in and play, because the name of the game is user growth, and that's what the mobile app will hopefully drive. That's what the marketing plans will hopefully drive. That's what all of us in this chat should drive. So, hopefully people come in, they play around, they have fun, they say, "Wow, this is fun." It's all the advantages that we listed, the 7 or 8 different things, and and I can make money at doing this, and I can get in for super cheap. So let's go. That is a dream because when we go from 4,000 to 20,000 or 40,000, it's still a small game, but the effect on prices is going to be exponential. So I'm optimistic for that. And yeah, so I mean, you can read in detail all the takeaways that Jarvie has here. But the bottom line is downward pressure on rental prices. So if you were on the sidelines thinking about when to rent, I mean, it's a good time. All right. So let's take a second and optimistic Brian. Let's take a second and talk about this commercial. So speaking of marketing efforts, right? So Splinterland's official account posted this a day ago. Splinterland's spot on Newswatch TV will air on AMC on Monday. Now, does anybody actually watch cable in the chat? Because I don't. I don't have any cable subscriptions or anything. So I don't know how much reach this will have. But the filming and editing of the segment has been completed. It's going to be a 90-second segment on Newswatch, which airs on AMC. So we don't have it here in Australia. No, no. Okay, so this is probably not the target audience for this commercial. But yeah, it's going to be aired twice at least, and in addition to the aired segments, Splinterlands will also receive a month-long social media campaign targeting their base 200,000 followers and 500,000 guaranteed online impressions. Yeah, I think it does offer like mainstream validation, so that's cool. The 5,000 guaranteed online impressions, that's not worth so much, but you know, hopefully we'll get some of 200,000 followers. So, and then there's going to be distribution through Bloomberg and Reuters and CNBC, Associated Press, Wired, HuffPo, display ad marketing campaign through Google Display Ad Network with guaranteed 1.6 million impressions. So that's pretty cool. And who knows what the conversions will be, because I don't know how overlapping those audiences are. But I think it is a great it's a great step. So we'll see how it goes, and stay tuned for more updates. But yeah, that's the basic thing. So if anybody has an AMC subscription or access or whatever, record the commercial or the segment and share it with the group so we can see what's going on. And Matt Clark says the players are out there. When they understand what we are doing, they'll do the research and move their chips in. And yeah, I think that is true, and we have to reach them. So this is definitely a step in that direction. I think getting mobile going and getting the word out, that's going to be the 1-2 punch here. Just have Ag upload the file. Well, it's uploading the it will have better quality, that is true, but you want to record the impression that it makes on the viewer. So I want to see the actual version that somebody sees on the TV. So let's talk market prices. So let's actually switch over to switching to the spreadsheet. Okay, so let's go. Oh, I gotta bring all this up. So move it up. Transition. Okay. So market prices. Markets have been down. Prices are lower. And just before the show, I updated my spreadsheet here, my crazy ass spreadsheet, with the latest market values from Peak Monsters. And this is my flippening chart. Basically, what it does, if you haven't seen it before, is it calculates what the average expected return would be for a given type. So, whether it's a rewards card, or if you buy some orbs, or if you buy beta packs, like from the Steam Engine Marketplace or Alpha packs or Untamed packs. So pretty much everything's negative. Even if we turn potions on, it's still not great. So minus 33% in Dark Energy Crystal terms for orbs. If we turn on, if you buy a beta pack off of Steam Engine right now, you're looking at a huge loss. Same with Alpha, huge loss, 78%, 23%. If you buy Untamed as a 575 pack, in dollar terms, you're looking at minus 50%. Turn on potions, it gets a little bit better, minus 36%. But in Dark Energy Crystal value, you're way down. So the only thing that's really profitable at the moment is actually rewards cards, and those are from from playing. So it's not a great time to be to be buying packs, and that is unfortunate because if we look at Dark Energy Crystals, let's see. Let me switch back here. The Steam Engine. This is next.steam-engine.com. If you guys haven't seen the stage or the next edition. So buying packs to get rewards cards would be worth it. No, playing to get rewards cards would be worth it. That is profitable. Even turning on potions. If you want to increase your legendaries or increase your gold rewards cards, that's still worth it. But it takes volume to make that work. And why is Steam Engine not loading? Whenever we try to do anything online, it's always this way. All right, let's go to old Steam Engine. .com. Not loading yet. All right, market. Sign in. Everybody can look at my wallet. Oh, there it goes. It's all blockchain. There's no secrets. Anybody can look at my wallet at any time. Or your wallet. I don't know. We might have to yell at Aggro if this isn't working. Okay. So 0.061 or 0.0397 Steam. And that is, compared to 1 cent per thousand, that's down, 40%. Copy that, paste it in the chat. Is this loaded yet? Nope, still not loading there. Okay. So, yeah. Dark Energy Crystals, the in-game currency. So many things are bought and sold in Dark Energy Crystals. The main driver of the value is that their supply, 1 million more or less a day, are created, plus burns add to the supply. And then the sinks are potions. That's probably the largest sink. And you only buy potions if you're buying packs. So if it's not worth buying packs, then it's not worth buying potions. And that creates a downward pressure on Dark Energy Crystals, which makes me super sad because I hold a ton of Dark Energy Crystals. Long term, I'm not concerned. But again, the bottom line is user growth. So the more users that come in, the more cards will be bid up, the more profitable it will become to buy packs, and that will reverse this whole trend. But for right now, until that happens, Dark Energy Crystals are probably not going to go much higher. We might tread water because we've been in this range for a little while, but that's kind of what I see. Expansion should have a lot of utility as well. And now you're talking about the land expansion, Agrod? And hopefully he's hearing and responding. Next time I will test how to bring in people this is only my second stream, so I don't know how to actually bring Agrod on. But crafting, mining. Yeah, so if you guys go back and watch the interview that Jarvie and I had with Agrod, he talks a lot about the potential crafting system. And I'm actually super excited for that. Basically, it's going to be adding, from what I understand, it's going to be adding a kind of a role playing element, where you're going to have, resources that you control on blockchain, and different combinations of monsters and materials and all kinds of things can make different things. I interviewed the Aggroed. It's true. It was the Peak Monsters podcast number 2 or number 3, something like that. You can find it on YouTube, or on Steam. And yeah, we talked for like an hour. I don't know why more people haven't watched it, because this is critical information, folks. Uh, uh, so for those of you who are only seeing the stream here and not actually seeing the picture uh, that was just posted, let's see if I can bring this up. Open original. There we go. Tom, male, 30 years old, California. Online now. Last login in March 11th of 2006. Uh, and that is our Steam founder, executive, MIA, ghost, something of Ned. But that's just hilarious. Has nothing to do with anything, but that's funny. Anyway, let's see. So rewards cards, right? Rewards cards are the profitable thing to do. They can, but rewards cards are interesting because they run out of print. So Kyo Kiz, has developed this page that tracks the print rates of rewards cards, and it's actually really, really helpful. So if you're looking to speculate on stuff, the cards that are highly useful that are about to run out are these guys right here. So these 90 percenters, and between 90 and 98%. So Wood Nymph is very useful to tank heal. It's because your alternative with Earth is generally Spirit of the Forest, which is a much higher mana cost. So Wood Nymph is used a lot. Another member of the Roaring Twenties, Matt Clark's pimping his guild. He's a good guy. And yeah, so I think that's going to be a good card. Goblin Mech, probably, I mean, I very rarely see it. Brownie is fairly useful. Silver Shield Archers are great because they're 2 mana with a snipe. They're weak, but, in certain matches they can be really useful. Creeping Ooze is used all the time, but there's a bunch of them. So we'll see what the price is on that. But it's 1 mana, so, and it has a slow, and it has enough health to absorb a hit. It's used a lot. Sea Monsters use a lot. That has it's a water card. It's got good health. It has at higher levels it has reach. So that might be worth looking at. Undead Minotaur, not used that much. Exploding Dwarf, I mean, so that's at Exploding Dwarf is at 90.19%. It's one of those weird ones where it's super useful in very few circumstances. So the price is meh, okay, and you can look at the prices here, but it's kind of hard to see here. So what I like to do is I like to go over to Peak Monsters, as always. Go to Market. Cloves Pimpin' Immortal Gods. So full disclaimer, I'm in Immortal Gods. I'm one of the lower players because, well, I don't have full on. The deck that I play with is not a max deck, so it's hard to compete at the higher levels. But I generally get to Diamond 1, sometimes Champion. So if we look at rewards, and if my browser is responsive, so let's go. So if we look at the commons, and we arrange in price ascending, so here we can see. Let's just look at regulars for the moment. Here we can see the stuff that is, in order of price. So Gelatinous Cube, which is a great, easy tank, is highest price, and Undead Minotaur is lowest price. So Undead Minotaur is about to go out of print, but for now, that doesn't matter because nobody cares. But that might all change with the lane expansion. So, I think this is just speculation. Agrid has not told me this. But my guess is that a lot of cards that are not so useful in battle will be useful in lane expansion. Total speculation, but it is what it is. So anyway, Silver Shield Archers. That's going down to print. Sea Monster's going out of print. Creeping Ooze is going out of print. Exploding Dwarf is going out of print. Goblin Mech. Well, it was cent and a half. That's actually much higher than I thought it would be. Um, so yeah, so you know, one thing that the Splinterlands ecosystem has been really, really good at is actually pricing things accurately. So they are essentially priced in terms of utility. So the things that have more demand and are more useful, like the wood nymph right here, that baby is going to shoot up once it goes out of print, which will probably be in another couple seasons. So I have a rare out of print WT. uh, yes, that is an excellent card, Patient Zero. And for those of you who can't see in the chat, that's what it looks like. Beautiful. That might be the most valuable card that there is. Okay. Anyway, so Matt Clark wants to see ECR used as a limiting factor in crafting/mining. Okay, so ECR is energy capture rate. Basically, you start off at 100%, and if you win a battle, then you capture 100% of the dark energy crystals available for that battle, which depends on how you're doing compared to how everybody else is doing and all that stuff. As you play more throughout the day, your energy capture rate goes down, and basically your summoners get fatigued, so they're able to capture less of the ambient energy and convert them into dark energy crystals. So that's what he's talking about. So I mean, we'll have to wait and see, Matt, as far as how that will play out and if ECR will be a factor. But I just wanted to run through these other cards here. So on the rares, let's see. Mushroom Seer is already out of print. Prismatic, I believe, is already out of print. Prismatic, yeah, Prismatic's out of print. Flame Imp is about 88%, so that's interesting. I don't think any of these are really close to going out of print. On the epics, Daria's already out of print, and so when you get the Dragon Quest, you need a Dragon Summoner. So your choices are, Delwyn, you got Daria, you got Selenia. I forget the name of the Untamed one, but Daria is generally the go-to as far as most easily obtainable and affordable. So it's not surprising that that she's creeping up in price. Brownie is going to go out soon, and I mean, I think Imp Bowman was on that list as well. Yeah, Imp Bowman's at 88%, so not quite in the danger range. Oh, there's Neb, right? So poor Neb. I have a max gold foil Neb Seni, but he's just not. People don't play with him, and it's a shame. I mean, he's a great card. He's rare. He adds speed, and there's just not enough of them, and not in demand, which makes me sad. If you look, like a year and a half ago, I made a post about how I spent like $2,000 on a gold foil Nebseni, but that has not paid off. So not all speculations work out, but overall, Splinterlands has been a winner. So there's that. Speaking of the original Kickstarter promos, there's one card that is vastly underused, and that is, I'll show you. Dragons. That is the Dragon Whelp. So this guy is still super cheap. It's a common, but it's the alpha common, so it's not quite so bad. If you wanted to buy a bulk, well, you can't. But if you wanted to buy a level 8, it's $300, which is a lot for a common, but it's on par with the Elven Cutthroat. And he's flying, and there's a lot of Earthquake matches now. He's got Thorns, which is great. And at higher levels, he's got 2 magic attack. So Peachy says Prince Julian is $800. Ooh, that's interesting. So yeah, Fenrir is selling a PJ for $800, and on Switch is selling for $850. So yeah, I guess enough of those are coming online where prices are coming down. So I'm not charging $20,000 or whatever it was. Um, but yeah, I still think Dragon Whelp is an underutilized card. And a lot of the alpha Kickstarters, the it's actually cheaper to get a gold max than it is to get a regular max. Let's check out that. So we got Dragon Whelp, 31 of those. So yeah, I mean it's you could buy a max level Dragon Whelp for slightly more than a level 7 regular Dragon Whelp. So I mean I have one, but that's worth it all day. Super useful card, and also one of those cards that, since not a lot of people have it, is a surprise to a lot of people. So um, that's just an aside. I think it's fantastic. Let's finish looking at the rewards cards and go back to regulars, legendaries. Oh, that's the dragon. Okay, so we got these guys. Black Dragon's out of print. Ruler's out of print. Lord Eranthus is out of print. These guys are all new, so yeah, they're not close. Let's see how Sacred Unicorns do. Sacred's out of print. Okay, so so yeah, Zalran has been a popular guy lately. He's got Life Leech. He's got Cleanse. He's got Headwinds. He's got Strengthen. Pretty useful card for the fire team. And Matt Clark says he saved a ton by leveling a gold foiled summoner instead of regular. $9 for gold, $23 for regular. So yeah, I mean there are arbitrage opportunities, and when you play with the golds, you also get the Dark Energy Crystal bonus, 10% for each gold card. If you have a gold alpha card, you get 10% for gold and 10% for alpha, which is why I play with my gold alphas primarily. So that is super fun. I mean, that is kind of rich man's game, but I mean, it's it's worked out. I promise you. So we have seen overall market prices have been coming back down. Again, if we go back to Rafalski's site, he's got a sales thing in here somewhere. Packs purchased, we can see here booster packs are eh, came down from the release of Untamed and have been kind of in the doldrums a little bit. I mean, 500 packs a day, still not bad, but still, we need a lot more. Um, but let's see. Quest finished, cards combined, cards burned, market orders. Here we go. Um, so yeah, we're seeing kind of a drop off in activity. This is normal in that at the season ends, we get these large spikes. People get their season rewards, and a lot of them want to sell off and cash in and either buy more packs, buy more potions, or just take the money and run and and lower the cost of their decks a little bit. So that is kind of what we're seeing in the market. And then once Untamed is processed and consumed by current users and the users coming in, from the commercial, from the mobile app, all that stuff, then we will see a lot more activity in the markets compared to what we're seeing now. So it is it's UTC time, 3:58. So that means we have about a minute left, and I wanted to take this time to talk to all of you about what you see for the future of Splinterlands. So type in the chat. What do you think the should be the next focus of the team? And this, we're going to use this to talk back to Agrod and Yaba and everybody to let them know what you guys want. And while you're doing that, I am going to look at these burn rates. Because alpha is pretty much done, beta's pretty much done. Mobile should be top priority, player base growth, VR fighting, scaling the team. I assume you mean the actual development team. That would be great, so we get stuff out faster. VR fighting, I'm totally on board, Julia. One of my next gadget that I'm purchasing is actually going to be a Vive, for HTC, because no way I'm buying a Facebook Oculus. Porn skins probably not going to happen, Ron. uh, Rusty Android. So Rusty Android and we're out of time. Ah, I guess that's it.